Hey guys, well, this is going to be a video response, and actually I believe this might be the very first video response I've done that's not a contest entry, since I created this channel. But yeah, this is a video response, and this is going to be a video response to TheClaySinger, and basically this is going to be a video talking about my memories I have with movies, like renting movies, seeing movies in theaters and all that. He kind of said that he decided to do this video because he's been watching a lot of Cold-Editors older videos lately, which oddly enough I have too. I've been finding myself watching a lot of Cold-Editors older videos lately, and there's actually a video that I want to do that has been inspired because of his Cold-Editors older videos, that I still haven't decided if I want to do it or not. It's not like it wasn't inspired by any specific video, but there's something from his older videos that there's something that basically I can relate to it kind of, and I kind of want to. There's something basically from my life that something I went through that I want to talk about. I still haven't decided if I'm going to do the video or not. But I might though, like later, like maybe a little down the road. I don't know. I'll have to see. But all that, that's another story though. So anyway, yeah, this video I'm going to talk about some of the memories I have with movies, as I just said. Oh yeah, that's another thing I'm trying to work on. It's like not saying like and all that so much, but whatever. So anyway, this video again, like I just said, is basically I'll start at the beginning, I guess. The earliest memory I have of movies is from when I was 4 years old. 1990, I was 4 years old, and that's the year that although technically this isn't a movie, it's a mini-series, but that year the It miniseries aired on TV, I think for the first time, and like I just said, somehow I managed to watch either all of it or just at least some of it. I can't remember if I watched all of it, but I saw some of the It miniseries back when it originally aired when I was 4 years old, and there's a scene, every time I think about that, there's always one scene I can remember just like it was yesterday. It's just the one scene I remembered clearly seeing back then. And that was the scene with Ben near the sewer entrance or whatever it was. That's when Pennywise appeared to him, as his father, in his I think it was in the Air Force, like in his Air Force uniform, and pretty much then Pennywise turned into a skeleton holding the balloons. And I remember after seeing the movie, I remember I was scared. I mean, it scared me, because I was only 4 years old, but it scared me. And the main memory of this actually isn't necessarily with the movie itself, but at the time, well, she may still have it. I don't know if she still has it or not, but my sister had this ventriloquist puppet that that just happened to be a clown, and at least to me, it looked a lot like Pennywise, and I was honestly goodness terrified of that puppet. I was terrified of it. I'm talking about to the point that I would see it and I would bust into tears at just the sight of it. But my sister used to love scaring me with this puppet for a long time. And I just remember that's what I always remember about it. This puppet my sister used to have, or my sister has, and how I used to be so terrified of that thing. And so the next memory I'm going to talk about is actually a few months later. It takes place a few months later after I saw it, and this time it's close to Christmas, because I remember we had our Christmas tree up, and that around that period, I saw the movie Gremlins for the first time. And if you've seen it, you may remember there's a scene in the movie where the Gremlins are hiding in the Christmas tree, and when the main character's mother gets near it, the Gremlins pretty much attack the mother, and in the process, they knock the Christmas tree over, and it starts the mother and the Gremlins and the tree start rolling around, and that scene scared me when I was a kid too, and I was still 4 years old at the time, and somehow apparently I convinced myself that the Gremlins were hiding in our Christmas tree, and that if I got near it, they were going to jump out and eat me. I apparently convinced myself of that because I was honestly scared to go near my Christmas tree. I would not go near it for the life of me, just because like I said, I thought the Gremlins were hiding in my Christmas tree, because of that scene. Yeah, and I just remember the next thing I remember. My father is holding. I mean, I remember us like looking through the Christmas tree, like moving the branches. I can remember moving the branches, like looking around in the Christmas tree. I guess apparently I had said something about the Gremlins or whatever, and basically my father was showing me there wasn't anything in there and all that. And yeah, that's another thing I always remember. Every time it's about Christmas, it's around Christmas, I see a Christmas tree. Sometimes I'll think about that. So fast forward 2 years. It's 2 years later, and it's my 6th birthday. And that year I had my 6th birthday party at a Pizza Hut in the town I lived in at the time. That particular town, I don't live in it anymore, but I live like a 30-minute drive away from it. And I remember I got two VHS tapes that year for my birthday. One was an episode of a TV series. It was from that old G.I. Joe cartoon from the 80s. It was the episode I got was, I actually already owned it on VHS prior to my birthday, but the episode that someone had given me was, I believe it was that the Pharaoh episode, if I recall correctly. I actually still have those 2 tapes lying around somewhere, but. The movie, I got a movie that year for my birthday, and the movie I got well, let me explain this first before I tell you what it was. That I can actually still remember 20 years later. It's been 20 years since I was 6, and I can actually still remember that I remember opening the gift, this particular movie. I remember opening it, and the first thing I saw was a girl on the cover with black hair. And I thought, oh no, they got me a girl movie. I actually remember thinking something like, oh no, they got me a girl movie. Why did they give me a girl movie? I'm not a girl, I'm a boy. And I opened it, and it turned out to be, the movie was All Dogs Go to Heaven, which actually ended up becoming one of my favorite animated movies back when I was a kid. I believe the only animated movie I liked more was The Land Before Time, which was my favorite childhood movie. And I mean, I still have to get both movies, sooner or later. I'm going to get both movies. So, unfortunately, Land Before Time is not out on Blu-ray, but All Dogs Go to Heaven is. But sooner or later, I'm going to get both movies. And but so let's see, what next? So yeah, I guess I'll just go through these chronologically. I never really rented. I mean, I used to rent movies, but I never really rented movies that much. I mean, I always rented. All the times I ever rented stuff, usually it was video games. I was always more of a gamer person. I still enjoy playing video games. I don't buy games nearly as frequently as I used to when I was a kid and all that. Yeah, I still enjoy playing my Xbox, and all that. The last new game I bought was like Batman Arkham Asylum, back earlier this year. But this isn't a video game memory video though. So it wasn't until I was about 14 that when I was 14, I was in the 8th grade. It was 1999, and it was that year I actually really started renting movies more than video games. I'm not a renting person at all now, but that year I started renting movies more than I did video games. And that year I remember I remember at the local Blockbuster here in my town when it was still open. I remember renting. I remember renting one day. I remember renting. You know, keep saying it over and over again. I remember renting Night of the Living Dead, and you know, the remake, not the original. I rented. It was actually if I recall correctly, that was actually the first time I. That was actually the first time that was the first zombie movie I'd ever seen, believe it or not. I never really got the chance. Up until maybe starting around that time, I'd really never seen too many horror movies. I had seen. I mean, usually the only option I had was the horror movies when they would air on TV, like and when they would air on Monster Vision. I love that show. And unfortunately, Monster Vision was canceled about a year later, as I recall. But I rented Night of the Living Dead, the remake, that year, and basically that was my introduction to zombies and the whole zombie thing. I pretty much fell in love with zombies and zombie movies and all that after that. And it got to the point. I mean, I rented Night of the Living Dead a lot for a period, to the point my parents would always be like, "Are you renting that again? Don't you want to see something else?" I was like, "Yeah, but I mean, I just want to rent this tonight." I mean, they honestly used to ask me like, "Are you renting that again?" That's how much I used to rent it back then. Although it wasn't the first zombie thing I'd seen, the very first zombie thing I'd ever seen was an episode of The Real Ghostbusters back when I was a kid. That was my favorite cartoon. And you know, they had an episode that dealt with zombies, but yeah, and that kind of brings me to another point though, like renting the block. My town where we live, as we all know, Blockbusters and movie rental places are kind of closing down a lot these days. They're not as nearly as prevalent as they used to be, but up until, I mean, my town where I live, we used to have 3 movie rental places. One was locally owned, one was Movie Gallery, one was Blockbuster. At this point, there's no we don't have any movie rental places anymore here, unless you count Redbox. But like the actual stores, we don't have any. Pretty much at this point, Blockbuster closed down back in 2009, I believe. And the Movie Gallery did too. I closed down, I think, a little before the Blockbuster did. The Blockbuster where it used to be, it's a hair salon now. The Movie Gallery is like a tobacco and beer place now. And so it's kind of sad because that Movie Gallery, that was actually the very first place I ever tried getting a job at. I think it was like 15 at the time, 16, whatever, 16 or 17, I believe. But unfortunately, and the cool thing was, as it turned out, that two of my friends, one was actually my best friend, who is actually the person I was talking about at the beginning of this video that I want to do a video about, that I can relate to. But that's a whole another story. Basically, two of my friends, my best friend, whose name was Sunil, and another friend of ours, whose name was Matt. All of us had tried getting a job at this movie gallery back when it first opened. It opened back when I was in high school. I believe it was like 2001 or 2. It was like 2002, I believe it opened, and we all of us tried getting a job there. No, I remember telling Sunil later on how, man, can you imagine if all 3 of us got a job there together? And he said, yeah, we'd probably get fired on the first day. I still think about that sometimes, and laugh. And unfortunately, all 3 of us ended up not getting a job there. I don't think we even got a call back about even a possibility of getting a job there. But yeah, and this locally owned movie place, I mean, it's been gone too for years now. But I remember that year I remember one day walking through, looking around, and I saw a movie. I saw Clue the movie I was like, you know, Clue was my favorite board game. I love the game. So I thought, yeah, I'll rent this. I mean, it's based on Clue. I want to see it. And rented it, and that ended up becoming, again, that ended up becoming like one of my favorite movies. It still is one of my favorite movies. I have it on DVD. And after I bought it, I eventually did buy it not long after. And when I did, I remember it was my second year in high school. It was like 2001, I believe, when this happened. That my first semester of my second year in high school, I got to where I literally watched Clue every single night before I would go to bed, you know, during the week. My parents kind of used to, like, that was another thing. My parents kind of used to kind of made fun of me about, like, are you watching it again, and you know, that kind of stuff. And another memory I have is actually another horror movie related memory. Is when I was in it was 2004. Yeah, my best friend Sano, I think he had just graduated from high school. He was a year older than me, and he had graduated from high school already, like the year before. And you know, that year, the Dawn of the Dead remake, you know, came out to theaters. And I remember me and Chanel went to see it, you know, the Dawn of the Dead remake. And I think we kind of sat near the front. And I remember after it was over, I just remember after it was over, I mean, personally, I enjoyed it, but I remember Chanel saying how he thought it was lame. I remember actually coming out of the theater, and Chanel was like, man, that movie was lame. I don't know, personally, I enjoyed it. He was never really much of a horror person anyway, so that's probably a lot to do with it. So that was in 2004. Fast forward 2 more years, 2006, and at that point, I think I just turned 20 like 2 months before, and that was the year Superman Returns came out. And you know, I'm a big Superman fan, and so I decided to go see it, Superman Returns, and you know, my parents, you know, they decided they wanted to go too, so they went, and that later that night, after the movie was over, we were driving home, and you know, by this point, I believe the theater in my town had closed down, so. We pretty much if you want to go to a theater, you pretty much have to go to a town. It's like you pretty much have to drive like 30-40 miles away if you want to go see a movie in theaters now where I live. And we were driving home, and as we were at a stop sign, I'll tell you this part. We were in a town where. We were driving through a town that, where this stoplight was, I'll tell you, it's kind of a bad part of town. Let's just say you better hope you better hope you don't have you don't break down out there, you know, in the middle of the night. Let's just say that. And anyway, we were at the stoplight, and all of a sudden, like a group of guys in a white car accidentally rear-ended us. Yeah, it didn't really cause much damage, you know, but we pulled over into the nearby parking lot, and these guys actually took off. You know, they drove off, and then for some reason we started chasing after him, like my father did. Like, I mean, I don't know what my father thought. I don't know what we thought was going to happen, but you know, for some reason my father chased after him, and honest to goodness. As we chased them, they honest to goodness, they started throwing bags of drugs out of their car all over the street. Honest to goodness, they honestly started throwing drugs all over the place out of the car. Apparently, they thought maybe we were police officers. I mean, we were like undercover police officers or something. I just thought that was a crazy experience, but you know, fortunately we made it out okay. And I believe that's actually the last memory I have that's really worth sharing. I'm sure there's something I'm not thinking of. I don't doubt there is. that as soon as I end this video and start uploading it, I'm going to think of it. I'm like, oh man, I should have said that. But yeah, because I mean the thing is, I haven't seen a movie in theaters in like 5 years at this point. I don't rent movies anymore. So I mean, there's really nothing there's really no memorable experiences I've had since. So that's really about it, I guess. So yeah, anyway, I don't know how long this video has been, but if you've watched this long, thanks for watching, and let's hope I don't end up thinking of something that I should have added. So, see you guys next time. Maybe I might end up doing that video about my best friend, this guy I used to be friends with, but we'll see though. Until then, I will see you guys next time.